for
stuff.
confirming. Oui. Awesome. That was my terrible French. I apologize. You know what? Actually, if you don't mind, Gillian, before we get into it, I want to ask a question to... Not about...
I was like, can they see me yet? I don't know. Okay.
Can definitely see you. So I've been like watching other live streams, mostly on like Twitch, and not and like YouTube, and people like greet people when they come in, which is something that I like really love because I think it's really nice to feel like, you know, when you're like in a public space and like you can actually look at people in the face and be like, hello, thank you for coming. We really appreciate that you're here. And as like an audience member, you're like, I feel seen. And I am also happy I'm here. This is something I actually really hate about Instagram Live is that like I don't get to see any of like the people that join and like say
who's
hi.
coming in.
Yeah. But I get nervous about people saying people's Instagram names. Is that strange?
Ridiculous.
Is that like a bad thing?
I don't think this is strange. I mean, yeah, I've never done an Instagram live event before, so this doesn't sound strange at all. This is an entirely strange platform to me. So that sounds. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm seeing people joining right now that I know. Hi, friends.
It's so good.
Yeah, and it's so great to see you guys.
It's
Hi.
so good to see you too. Hi, Gillian's friends. Thanks so much for coming on and joining us. I think between my bad vision and my inability to like read words, I won't say any of your names, but we see you and we're really happy you're here. And I just think I want everybody to know that. That feels really important to me because it's important to us, you know?
Absolutely, as the hosts.
Yeah, well, it's also just like I don't know. I just feel very disconnected to actual human faces these days. So,
Good time.
Yeah. So I like imagine everybody actually being present. So in our living room with us and in your studio with you.
Yeah, my studio, as you will see, my studio is a little small, but but we'll imagine them being here.
We're all crammed in. When we used to like, squeeze into tight spaces in concerts together and let our like skins touch each other and like.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I keep having these like party dreams where I'm at a party, like I'm at an indoor party, and I'm like, I'm having the best time. And like, it just seems like a totally normal kitchen party or something. And you're like, I'm having a great time. And then like 10 minutes into the dream, you're like, it's COVID. No one's wearing masks. Where am I right now? And like, so it's just like, anyway, I think I'm longing for, that type of interaction, but there's that anxiety that comes in for sure. And it's infiltrating my dreams.
I've been having very, very similar dreams, like where I become like a masked police agent midway through what used to be a nice experience. Mm-hmm. Although I did have a friend, so we have friends that are musicians, Mel and Dari. They're fabulous people, and I had a dream the other night that they were having a post-COVID, so COVID was over, concert, and it was at the bottom of the ocean in this huge dome, and you took a submarine down to their concert, and it was the most beautiful, like, magical dream ever. It was so nice. Everything about it was just lovely. There was no gross, bad, scary tension parts. It was just such a nice dream. So, yeah.
It's an extravagant concert.
Yeah,
it's good to have those. It's good to have those, like, in between the bad ones, for sure. That's a relief.
Anyway, I'm so happy to see you. I'm so glad that you could join us and you made it work even though Fridays weren't a thing. We got Saturday on the books and I'm so happy.
Yeah, very much appreciate the flexibility. Yeah, Friday. I haven't been able to catch the live events on Fridays because it's my work day. So anyways, yeah, happy about the flexibility.
No problem. We've been sort of debating moving them to Saturdays, but I think I've just gotten into such a rhythm of Friday that
we'll see how Saturday goes.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Whatever works.
Welcome to Flat Files. It's so lovely to see you. So, in case nobody has ever seen Flat Files before, Flat Files is a show that Chrissy and I started kind of at the beginning of COVID, where we got to like invite past residents or artists that we know or love and admire. And it was kind of started off as this kind of just show and tell, where we picked a couple works and like we held them up to a camera, and then they did the same thing, and we just talked about works that might not necessarily be like hanging up in a gallery someplace. Hence, Flat Files. As a printmaker, we have drawers of artwork that just kind of sit in a drawer forever. And so the premise was to maybe just be able to share those things. I would love if you introduced yourself, who you are and what you do, to our wonderful audience.
So yeah, my name is Gillian King. I did a residency with You Fine Folks in 2014, which is bananas. Right? Was it? I think it was 2014.
I'm pretty sure I wrote the date in one of the posts, and I can't remember. Yeah, I think you're right though. It was a while ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah, it really does. It doesn't seem that long ago in some ways. Yeah, I am located in Ottawa right now, but am originally from Winnipeg. I am a visual artist, primarily a painter, but use a lot of kind of textile art. You could kind of say printmaking practices in my painting practice.
Yeah.
And I am in school right now to get my art therapy certification. And my day job slash a huge passion of mine is doing art therapy type work with seniors and individuals living in long-term care.
Yeah, that's an intense thing right now to be doing.
That is an intense thing right now to be doing. Yes. Yeah. I started working. I've been now working. It's my third year working at the same long-term care home, and that's just like it's very okay. So this past year has obviously been very intense. But yeah, generally it is a very joyous, like heartwarming, like intensely heartwarming, fulfilling job. And it's what pushed me to pursue my art therapy certification. So previous to art therapy, all of my education has been in the visual arts. I did my master's at the University of Ottawa. And I started my art therapy school through the Toronto Art Therapy Institute in January of 2020. And it just so happened to be a virtual program. And so it just says, it was a distance ed program, because I was like, I love where I work. I don't want to move cities for a program, and they can do it virtually. So it's just like continued. It's just continued on throughout the pandemic. I feel like if I knew a pandemic was coming and I would be working in long-term care during that, I would not have signed up for school at this point in time. But you know, life happens and you wind up in these weird situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you've kept working, you've been able to keep working in the long-care home though, despite
yes.
Yeah. Because you got a vaccine, right? That's pretty wild.
I am vaccinated. Yes. Yes, I am vaccinated. Which is very wild, particularly with the vaccines abruptly stopping. I got vaccinated in January. And I feel very, very lucky to have been had the opportunity to get vaccinated. But obviously work with a really, really vulnerable population. It's super important. So the vast majority of staff and residents where I work are now vaccinated, which is just like huge weight off. Yeah, going into work. I don't remember what the question was before the vaccination.
That's okay. Yeah. Welcome to, Instagram Lives. It doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
I think like we've had, so you're the second artist that we've had this year that has moved into doing art therapy, which I think is really interesting. And I do want to encourage, if anybody has any questions about like anything that Gillian brings up or that we bring up, like feel free to pop it in the chat. We do our best to like actually read everything, unless we get completely sidetracked and derailed and then the question isn't relevant anymore. But you know, sometimes we come back. Yeah, like Leanne is saying, yeah, so
wow, it seems like your work the work that you're doing is like even more necessary for a creative outlet. Like, how has your experience been like working in the long-term care?
Especially right now, where people don't have family and stuff coming in. I think that's a really good point, Leanne.
Yes, yes, it has been very intense. So yeah, and like just a roller coaster that we are still in. So yeah, pre-pandemic, I was considered, I still technically am considered a creative arts instructor there, but I'm like transitioning into an art therapy role and will hopefully be like a certified art therapist by next year. Yeah, pre-pandemic, I was a creative arts instructor there. It is a nonprofit long-term care home, largely funded by Veterans Affairs. And so they have the ability to, and it's a huge long-term care home. It's one of the biggest ones in Ontario. And so they have, because of that Veterans Affairs funding, they have a huge recreation and creative arts department. So in normal times, I work with a team of 10 creative arts instructors.
Wow,
yeah, I know, it's amazing. Yeah, I know, yeah, it's like it's not your regular long-term care home. Yeah, I feel, and the creative arts department there is like really developed. It's been around for like 20, 25 years. So they have a full, like they've got a ceramic studio, a wood studio, a painting studio. I know, yeah, I feel like I like landed into like just like the most magical job. And so, yeah, it was a friend of mine that told me about the job. I was doing a lot. I was teaching art before and working in galleries. And then a friend told me about the job, and I was like, that sounds really interesting. And then a week into the job, I was like, wow, this is like unlike any other job I've ever had. And so we work with individuals in the studios. I also do like individual work, doing like one-on-one work with people on their units. And then when the pandemic happened, suddenly it was like, we can't gather in the studios anymore. So the creative arts instructors and the recreational therapists were kind of told to go to certain units and focus on those units. So I got put on a specific unit with about 20 residents on it. And I've been on that unit since March. So about a year now. So we no longer had access to the studios, and I also took on, my colleagues and I took on a lot of more like direct care work. So we help with, on top of arts programming, we help with, like with meal times. We help with like physical care needs that the residents need, just because the things are more short-staffed than usual. So we took on like additional duties on top of the creative arts programming, and really had to like shift how we were working, not having access to those studios anymore, and then also like needing to have everything sanitized and people spaced out and all this sort of stuff. So I really shifted what I was doing with residents to a lot of painting, a lot of watercolor painting, and like trying to come up with ways that residents could create like artwork independently, as well as spaced out in groups. Right. So yeah, lots and lots of problem solving, kind of just like different way of working. And what was great was that the residents like started to paint so much and really start to identify as artists, that we were able to put on an exhibition in their dining room. I know. Awesome. Yeah, it was super great. They were really, really, really pumped. So we put on an exhibition in their dining room of all the works that they had made throughout the pandemic so far, right before Christmas, and it was just like a really joyous event. So it's like bursts of light in the dark, essentially.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Having even those little moments of like feeling proud and feeling excited for something and like anticipating something is just so meaningful. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. So, and I really think that like exhibitions in long-term care homes and in like institutionalized settings are so important for like bringing community together and really like celebrating like people's skills and empowering people. So yeah.
Oh man, that's so cool. I'm really like, it sounds like it sounds like a very like tough thing to be doing in general, especially now, but also such a fulfilling and like uplifting thing to be working on as well. Yeah.
It's all the things.
It's all the
things. It's like intensely stressful, intensely joyous. So many things.
Speaking of painting, can we get a tour of your studio space? Your little studio. I don't know how little it is.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how little. It's like always like perception through the internet or on video is always a little bit different. But I'll give you a tour. Okay, so I share this studio with one of my best friends, and who is a photographer. So you will be seeing her work shortly. So these are,
Well, it's not that little. Look how big that painting is.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Maybe it's because I share the space with someone that it just seems like eat sometimes, but that sound effect, Okay, so we're getting into my buddy Olivia Johnston's work. She's over on this side.
Nice lighting.
Yes.
Some proper studio lighting in there.
She does. I mean, this is like the part of the plus of like having a photographer studio mate is that we do trades and she documents my work. Which is awesome. Yeah, which is awesome. So anyways, basically there's canvases everywhere because I'm getting ready for, I have a show coming up in like 2 weeks at the Ottawa Art Gallery. So there's canvases everywhere and they're all in like different stages of completion, not completion. So I'm like in crunch time.
Love it. It is the best. I don't know if it's the best in reference to the canvases being everywhere, but that's my takeaway from that comment. I love canvases everywhere. It's so exciting and wonderful. Okay, so
wait, you have a show coming up in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So what are you working on for the show and where is it going to be?
So the show is at the Ottawa Art Gallery. It's in their annex space. So it is their commercial space. The show has been in the works. Here a minute, I'll just put you down for a second. The show has basically been in the works for, it's been in the works for a couple of years. It was supposed to happen in June. It was supposed to happen in June of last year and then kept getting bumped, and now it looks like it's opening March 4th. So I've actually had like quite a bit of time to work on it. So, opens really soon. I'm like in crunch time for finishing up the paintings, but I feel like I tend to work well in crunch time.
I feel the same way. Like like that sentiment of like it was supposed to be in June, but like you're still somehow crunch timing it. It seems to be like you could have all the time in the world, and it will always be like the night before you're still finishing stuff, no matter when that deadline is.
Yeah, and I mean the work also it changes, and you're like, I'm not going to do that. Like scrap that. None of those will be included anymore. Now I'm going big. Like so it's just just like all sorts of different stages I've gone through in the making of the show. I originally thought that I was going to be including a lot of smaller works. And then just as time went on, I was like, nope, like I always somehow wind up going bigger. Yeah, so
we're driving many big paintings of yours to Ottawa.
You're both seriously the best. They saved me. Yeah, for anyone watching, Chrissy and Kyle saved me with transporting paintings back from the residency. And I have a habit of making very large work.
But I think that's what's exciting about your work is like that scale and that ability to like, you can't get the same textures in a small canvas, right? It has like,
absolutely.
You just can't.
So the process, can you talk a little bit about, because it's very different than what you were doing when you were here, which was the very straight up abstract oil painting.
Yes, yeah. So my work when I was staying with you, that was pre-grad school, and it was oil painting. I was working with similar themes, so like my body's relation to bodies around me, the natural world, interconnectedness. I was still working with themes like that, but I was doing it in a more figurative way. Mm-hmm. And then I got to grad school, and they make you question everything. And so I started to focus a lot more on materials. And then that led to abstraction. So for, pretty much the entirety, I made that switch really quick at the beginning of grad school. And then pretty much for the rest of grad school was like full abstraction, using different kinds of pigments, some of those pigments being like animal ashes. So like really, really thinking about the
animal ashes.
You just glanced over that. Can we elaborate?
Can we expand on what that means?
Yeah. So I was thinking a lot about. So at the time, I was thinking a lot about. Those paintings are at my house, not here. But I was thinking a lot about where materials come from. So I was looking into like how paint is made. Where do these pigments come from? How does that relate to the themes in my paintings? And so I went way down the rabbit hole in grad school and was like, okay, so many of these paint pigments are derived from insects, are derived from animal bones, or minerals, like all of these different sorts of things. And I'm talking about the body and vulnerabilities and mortality, and it wound up being me taking the ashes of my deceased dogs and putting them into paintings, my pet dogs growing up. And so they kind of acted like ceremony type paintings, using their ashes. Chrissy, I'm so sorry at your face.
I'm sorry, this video.
Yeah. So I did a whole series when I was in grad school. It definitely freaked some people out. I feel like, some people were like, "Oh, it's beautiful," like beautiful ceremony in like action painting, and talk about bodies and materials. And other people were like, "I love my dog. Don't you love dogs?" So I was like, yes, I love my dogs. So anyways, that was some work in grad school. Anyways, just goes to illustrate the I guess like investigation of materials for painting. And so the paintings now have like evolved in terms of materials. And I got into I spent some time in Berlin a couple years ago, and that is where I started plant dyeing. And so I was like, okay, I want to address the actual canvas. How can I do that? And it was like, okay, dyeing the canvas, stains. And so I started looking into that. So what's behind me right now, all of the works that you saw in my studio, these are all plant dyed, plant dyed canvases. And then once they are dyed and stretched, I then like go into them with more traditional painting materials and start to kind of intervene. So this is, sorry, I'm like, which way is my hand moving here? So these, this is all oil painted. This is one of the finished works. This is one where I'm not debating it anymore. Whether it's finished or not, it's now been like documented and it's good to go. So what I do with the canvases is I do a steam dye method. So this big dye pot here is where I steam the bundles of canvases with with plant materials in them. So
do you do where you like lay it out and then you like roll it up and then you put it into the, is that the process?
Yeah.
I did that with kids once, and I had an intern helping us, and I was like, hey, remember, like, steam works like this. It evaporates, like that's what steam is, evaporated water. So you have to keep an eye on them. She completely forgot, and we burnt the kids' art because there was no water. Anyways, then we had to redo it all.
It's like you're cooking. You need to watch. You need to watch what you're doing, and you also need to be careful as to like what you're putting in the pot. Like you need to know what plants you're using because some plants are poisonous. And you don't want to be steaming poisonous plants.
No, you don't.
Catching things on fire, not so good.
Yeah, and there's different chemical reactions that happen. Yeah, exactly. There's different chemical reactions that happen you need to be aware of how they're going to interact together. So there are like more traditional dye materials that the color will stay for a long time. Versus others, like some people think that you would think that beets, because they have this really potent red color. Yeah, exactly.
Garbage.
Beets. No beets.
Beets are trash.
Yeah. Beets. Yeah, exactly. They're going to turn brown. They're not going to stay. It's not an archival pigment. Versus if you prepare the canvas in a certain way and you use like black walnut. That is a natural dye. It's long lasting. There's a huge learning curve. It is so fascinating. How are
you getting the purple?
So the purple.
Curious about the purple.
Yeah, the purple is very interesting. So the purple is actually insects. So they're like they're little cochineal bugs. So they're considered an invasive species that take over cacti, and they make this like really, really bright, depending on what you mix it with, it could be like a bright red, or it can be, anyways, you can see on this canvas, it's like,
okay, so I got a question.
The color shifts.
How many bugs do you have to crush up to get that much pigment?
And then follow up to
where do you buy these bugs?
We don't have cactuses here, so
no,
an invasive species to Ottawa.
No, it is not. It is not. Yeah, it is quite interesting. So, there's cacti in the States. There's cacti in Mexico. It is. We don't have cacti in Canada, so it's an interesting choice in terms of, choices being made in terms of like using local materials, using materials that are not local. Where are they coming from? I do a whole variety of dye materials. So some of them I will grow in my backyard, in my dye garden.
We have so many black walnuts if you ever need a supply.
The black. When I first started looking for black walnuts, I was like, yes, please tell me where you're getting them from. Like, I need more. And then I've had situations where people are like, okay, I've got black walnuts for you, and we'll drop off just like huge
they just
amounts.
Like back a truck up to your
yes,
and just shovel them out in a giant pile. Yeah.
Yes, which is great, but also like you have to process all of them, and there's only me. And it's like you have to boil it all down in a pot and to get the ink out. But at the same time, it's like I had a situation where someone who is incredibly generous and lovely, I don't know if she's on here right now, dropped off a ton on my front porch, and I made the mistake of not going out to get them right away. Yeah, bad idea. And I didn't they were only out for a couple hours. Like they were only out there for a couple hours, but the squirrels went bananas.
Yeah, they did.
And it's a natural dye, and so it's black. Like it just goes like as soon as you crack that open, it's black, and so the squirrels just black everywhere. And then I was like, ah! And so I was like, trying to scrub everything down before any like the neighbors got home. Yeah, it wound up working out, but I was like, note to self, like black walnut deliveries, beware.
Just deliveries in general can be rough. One time I opened our back door and there was like 3 garbage bags, full garbage bags of scraps of fabric this big. And I was like, why? Like, we're not a dump. We're like, it was like a scribbly note. They did not tell me who they were. Just like, thought you could use these in a craft project. I was like, no.
Prickly pear and pincushion cacti grow wild in Manitoba.
Really?
No.
Hot tip.
Who said that? Because I'm from it. Who said that? I can't see who said it. We'll have to look
JP
later.
King? I think that's JP King.
Everett JP King.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Everett. That's my brother. Everett. Sorry. What is he doing here? I was like, I should have talked to him about this earlier.
Bro.
I know exactly.
I love that your brother's schooling you right now on where cactuses are.
I was like, Everett, stop commenting. I was like, yeah, he's like Instagram bombing us. Okay. Thanks, Everett. I will look into that later. Yeah, okay. Amazing. So something to look into later. That's nice that my brother's attending. Yeah, so anyways, I use a variety of materials, including black walnuts. But the cochineal bugs, there's a lovely company, it's a plug, for outside. Yeah, exactly. There's a lovely company in Vancouver called Maiwa, and they are all like textile. They sell tons of pigments, textile art materials. Yeah, really, really, really lovely store. So I get these cochineal bugs through them. I don't even know if you can.
Wait, are they actually bugs? It's not like ground pigment. It's not like you have to process it still. Do you say it was like a mortar and pestle and smoke bugs all afternoon? The things we do for art.
I know. Yeah, it's like quite fascinating. So it was my old studio mate that introduced them to me. My old studio mate, Carl Stewart. We had studios next to each other, and he's been working. He's a weaver and contemporary artist, and has been using natural pigments for a really long time. So when we became like next door studio neighbors, we had, God, they come dried. Yes,
it's just like a bunch of moving bugs in it.
Yeah, they look like little rocks. Is what they look like. Maybe I can do this. Okay, can you see this? You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, so, sorry, Kyle, to answer your question, they come, you can get it ground, or they can come in these little dried forms, but I mean, the dried forms are what's giving me these,
bursts of color, yeah.
It's what's giving me those bursts, where is my hand? Here we go, okay. It's what's giving me those bursts of color, so, I mean, I should, like, grind them up more at some point, to get like more of a
but like the texture's so good.
Stain. Yeah, I know. It's very like celestial, which is why I like the bursts. yeah, it reminds me of outer space. So, so I've been really enjoying what they do. And then mixed with like, let's say this yellow here is from marigolds. So when they start to like mix with other dyes, makes really cool effects. So I've been having a lot of fun with them.
What else is in this particular one? So we have the insects, the cactus killers. We have marigolds.
Right. So, okay, up here, I need to make sure that my hand is actually in the video here. Okay, so this area here is a yellow onion skin. I make my partner like save all of the onion skins that we cook with, and we use them. Yeah, it's amazing. We go through a lot of onions. And then this one also has black walnut in it. So all of this kind of like really dark gray, that's all black walnut. And then it just kind of it starts to interact, like when it's in the dye pot, it'll start to interact and like shift in color. So it's now kind of moving in here to interacting with the onion skins and with the marigold. And then down here, we've got the cochineal. What else can I show you? Yeah. Oh, okay. The green.
Yeah.
Okay, so these little bursts of green here, that is actually red onion skin. Yeah, so I mortared these canvases first. Like I prepare them first with a metal salt, and then that shifts the color and oftentimes makes the dyes darker.
Oh, because you can prepare the canvas in different kinds of ways to achieve different effects, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I find I did collect some black iron sand at one point where I was like, yeah, I'm totally going to use this, but I haven't wound up using it yet. So that's supposed to do something totally different. But I keep going back to this particular mordant because it's stable. I know what it's going to do. And because I'm often dyeing, I don't do test dyes. I dye one big canvas. Like I don't do mini tests first. I do like one big canvas at a time. Chris, if you slap me. I mean, I like that.
I love
you would just commit to it as well.
Yeah. But I feel like I haven't been able to say big canvas in my life in a while. So like I'm just like it's like a laughter out of like jealousy and like being able to just say like I have enough big canvas right now to put this one in a pot and hope for the best.
Yeah, and hope for the best. Yeah. I mean, it is a risk. Like you never know what's gonna happen. But I mean, if you keep like that's why I'm sticking with this particular alum because it's like it's consistent. I know what it's gonna do. I know that it's archival.
Yeah, it's true. So true. Christy would have a research book full of samples though, yeah.
Yes! Some people do. Like, the woman that I was working with in Berlin, she had the most beautiful research book, like, where it was like stacks. And like, I just loved looking through it. I just like, I don't have that patience. And I like the unknown as well. So I just don't have the patience to do all of the little tests. I'm like, let's just make it happen.
I would turn the research book into the project because I'd be like, well, it's been 3 years and all I've made is this research book now.
I mean, different strokes, right?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. It's so cool to see like what you've been working on and like how different it is from when you were here, and it's really beautiful. And the natural dyeing is so fascinating, you know?
Yeah, I also find it very fascinating. Yeah, I love like just including new methods. New methods into what I'm doing. I ordered a minorly impulsively, but I was like really taken by it and really excited by it. I ordered a tufting gun.
What is a tufting gun?
It's like
like Leanne's gonna post back. She's gonna like know exactly what this is, but I have no idea.
Leanne is a good friend of ours, and she works with fashion and textiles, and she went to school for that. So she's like on the ball with these kinds of things.
Yeah. So Leanne writes, I love that you just go for it. Dying is exciting and spontaneous. So I think the free approach works with the medium. Yeah.
I mean, that's a really good.
Thank you. I agree.
Yeah.
But what's a tufting gun?
So tufting gun is
it works exactly like this, right?
Yeah. It's for rug making. And so it's kind of it's for rug making. So it's a gun that's essentially shooting yarn into a material. And the tufting gun can let you do these really gestural things. So it's like adding on, so I'm very excited to start working with that and maybe like dyeing my own yarns and doing that sort of thing. But there's like in order to like include that in the paintings, I need to do some tests for that. Before I jump head first in, I will have to do some tests. But yeah, I'm excited to incorporate that. It's on back order right now, so it'll hopefully arrive in like April or May.
That sounds super exciting, though. I like it.
Yeah.
We're creeping very close to 1, so I'm wondering if we should transition into the other portion of our chat, which is our share, like our show and tell time.
Totally.
But we haven't been showing and telling.
No, it's true. We have been showing and telling. Oh, you're so welcome. It is exciting stuff. I completely agree. I think, God, I can't. Maybe
this is James Gardner. Hey, James.
Oh, awesome.
I think it's you. Yeah. So yes, let's transition.
Let's do it. Do you want to start, or do you want us to start?
You go.
Okay. So our first share, we're gonna be really honest with you and say that we don't know an awful lot about this artist, but it's work that we have up in our house, and we really do love it so much. So it says, "I need you." I'll try to get it a bit closer.
Here, you can hold it up on the side of the screen.
And I'll switch hands. So, I want to get it kind of close. So it's these little origami folded triangles.
Beautiful.
That are like double-sided. And it's done by a printmaker in Toronto. I think they're still in Toronto. I'm not sure. Kenny Lam. And so many moons ago, when Kyle and I got to like leave our house and do things, we would get invited to OCAD quite a bit to like chat, do like talks for their professional practices class, sometimes run little workshops. And on this occasion, we got to do studio visits, which I would 1000% do all the time. It was so much fun. I really loved it. So it was with students that were about to graduate, I believe, from their undergrad. And so they were working on their thesis show. So this was Kenny's thesis show work. And they're like hand letterpressed papers. I don't want to unfold one because I'm afraid I won't be able to get it back together. And what he did was made like, I don't know, it looks, if you go, I'll share Kenny's Instagram, and I'll actually take the piece as a finished product and like just share off of his page, because he made like this huge, like kind of semi-circled sculpture that you could walk inside of, was all of these little triangles put together into like a sheet that hung from the ceiling, and you went into this little, I don't know, like
dome?
It wasn't domed. It was like this, like a sleeping bag opened up and hung straight from a ceiling, so you could kind of like walk inside of it, and it curled all around you. And they said, "I need you," and then two other phrases that are escaping me right now. But yeah, people volunteered to help fold all of these, so there was like a little team of people folding them. And I don't know what the work was about, and I did spend some time this morning trying to find the answer to that question. There's lots of images of this work on his Instagram, but no actual explanation about what the concept was. So maybe if he sees this, he can let us know. And but they're really like, they're just really nice, and they sit in our entryway. Like, they're usually framed. We have them framed.
They remind me of those, you know, those magic 8-balls. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yeah, they feel really good too. They're like a gold ink with black overlay. So they have like a nice
feel,
tactile quality. And I think Kyle was the one that did the studio visit.
I can't really remember too much of like the conversation. I think this was like maybe 5 years ago.
I think that the show was in 2017, so I think that was like when.
Yeah, it was a while ago. We did a bunch of studio visits, but we were talking about like, that's something I really miss, like going places and seeing people's studios and being in those spaces.
Yeah, and talking to students, because you're so there. You know, when you're a student, you're so in it all the time. Mm-hmm. And having somebody who's not in it with you, like, come in and say like, oh, why'd you make this choice? I'd never been on the end where you got to say, why did you make this choice? I'd only ever been the student up until like this, you know, point in my life. Yeah. And it's fun coming in and being like, this is a decision you're making. Can we talk about it a little bit? And they're like, oh God, I don't know.
Yeah. Just dissecting things from a different view. Yeah.
It was fun. Anyway, so that's our first art share.
Love it. Okay, well, I'm gonna share one right now. It was before I started art therapy school. It is made by a Perley resident and was sold in the holiday art sale. So the Perley does a holiday art sale every year, and where residents can decide to sell their work. Nice. So I was working with a resident, and we made a series of ceramic poos, and
you are saying like poo, right?
Fecal matter.
Yeah,
little poop coils.
It was like there was so much joy in this project, like intense joy, and like one of the reasons why I just absolutely love this job. And so this is one by a particular resident who has a great sense of humor, and obviously, and just like I feel like it really like embodies like the play and the joy that can happen in these spaces.
Yes.
Someone's putting a lot of hearts.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I mean, like the poop emoji is up, and I'm like, there is something about, you know, our relationship with poo.
I really love this marbling that's in it.
I know.
I will say though, it looks unhealthy. Like, I would seek medical advice if your poo is white like that.
Apparently, there's
Look, they're popular.
Everybody she owns one. Yes, I know that she owns one. She went to the sale and bought one. But yeah, it was funny. One of the nursing staff stopped me in the hall and was like, oh my gosh, those poos. Like, apparently there's like a poo chart. Apparently there's like this general poo chart where you're like judging like how healthy a poo is, and she was like, I need this done in ceramics. Like, I need this done in ceramics, and I want to be able to like show all these different stages of poo and like what is healthy and what is like unhealthy in ceramics. So anyways, it was like it was very, very well received, and so I wanted to show that.
I love it.
That's
it's so
funny.
good. It's so great.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to take my headphones off for the next one. Because the next one, oh no, I have a whole, there's a situation happening here. So the next one is wearable art. And it's a necklace by a friend of ours, Brandy, who had a jewelry shop. And you know what? I think that maybe she's shut it down for the time being. But it's called Salvage Jewelry Co. in Kingston. And this was a trade I did with her. And I just cherish this necklace. I don't have a lot of necklaces and I don't actually wear a lot of jewelry. But I really like this one. So it's a bunch of they're feel like little rocks or shells. I'm not sure exactly what the material is. Or maybe bone? I'm not sure. It's very
I'm curious
hard
about
and soft.
It's very hard and soft.
Like it's not textured. It's like smooth. Sorry, hard and smooth.
Different words, guys. Different words.
But they look like some kind of candy I maybe ate when I was a kid. Like, remember those candies that kind of look like
candy
rocks?
Necklaces? Wait, candies?
Yes.
Yeah.
The rock necklace. Yeah, they were chokers, and they were right.
No,
the
they
candy.
Were different. I mean, it does have a candy necklace sort of vibe to it, but there were these candies that were just little flat, like this kind of shape, like a little circle-y shape, and they came in a little package, and they kind of had a marbling texture on them. Anyways, very similar, and I do love candy, so maybe that's why I like this necklace so much.
Sweethearts.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad you guys got there.
So they feel like that.
Yeah.
And then there's this kind of brushed metal that's looks like it's been hammered a bunch, so it has a good texture to it.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it's just it's a very nice necklace. I really love it, and I loved Brandy's shop. I wish that it was still happening. I don't know if it's just because craft sales or maybe she's just done with it. I'm not sure, but she made really beautiful things, and I really loved her pieces. So I have a few. This is just one of them. And I think wearable art is nice. It's nice to be able to wear something that somebody made with their hands. And
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's our second share.
I like the length of it.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one. You have good jewelry taste. You always have nice jewelry on.
I think I've been wearing these same earrings for 3 years, almost every day now. I think
they're good.
Thank you. I obviously like them. Yes. Thank you. Okay, I'll do a share.
Yeah.
I don't know what time we're at, but okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to this photograph made by my buddy Olivia Johnston. So yeah, she is a photographer here in Ottawa. She works at the School of Photographic Arts, which is a really, really incredible photography school here in town. So yeah, her work has to do with exploring the idea of holiness and mental health and the ability of everybody's ability to be holy in some way, as well as gender. So she did this photograph. She's on here right now. She's saying hi. Yeah, Olivia, feel free to chime in and write about your work if you want. Okay, so this particular artwork, she has had these frames. Olivia, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that these frames were they 3D printed and then you gilded them. She did a gold.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, oh no. Basically, she had the frames made. She had them custom made in these arches, and then she did a gold gilding on top of them. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Olivia.
Really good.
Yes, exactly. And so, yeah,
So this is a photograph?
this is a photograph.
Oh my gosh, it's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Where was this taken? Like how
I think she took it in this studio here. I'm pretty sure she did it in the studio here.
I wish I
Yeah.
understood photography.
No, I'm so not a photographer, yeah. It was exhibited at the Carleton University Art Gallery in, when was it, like 2 years ago? Year and a half, 2 years ago? Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to show you one of her works.
Olivia, is it
digital or is it true analog?
Is it analog printed or digital?
You're gonna wait for a reply.
I love this. So
yeah, the artist is here. Fiona,
amazing.
Everybody's just tagging themselves. Yeah,
I love it.
Yes. Yeah, there was a series of these pieces. It's shot film, printed inkjet.
Love it.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. I've always wanted like large photography in my house. It's like an actual dream of mine. But it is so expensive for photographers to get their work printed well that
oh my gosh.
It's out of my budget range, which I like fully respect and understand. One day it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get a really, really big photograph in my house. I would fully have this in my house. I love this. I love the frame too. I'm not gonna lie. The frame is just making me so happy.
Yeah, it is such a gorgeous work for sure. Yeah, and then we've got all of her. Anyway, sorry, Olivia. I'm gonna show you like your amazing objects. She's got such a wild collection
so good.
of like religious objects, like specific, like a lot of the Virgin Mary. She focuses a lot on the Virgin Mary, but like this like Pope John Paul II collectible.
I love that it's still in the box.
Yeah, still in the box. Still in the box. Yeah, she's got some wild stuff in here. She like reorganized it recently, so we're looking good.
So good.
My studio mate. Yeah.
That is awesome. We only have 2 shares this week because we're cutting our shares down because we are rapidly running out of things to share.
Things to share. That is totally fair.
Yeah. But
that is totally fair.
That's why we've started studio visits alongside the show and tell because 1, it's fun to be Snoopy, and 2, it's interesting to see how people work. I would have never known that you could make purple dye with bugs that eat cactuses. Like that, literally before today, not something that I had any information about. And now I know I can order them on the internet from a company in Vancouver, and I can crush them up in my house. And
and make your own red purple pigment.
See,
exactly. I wouldn't have known about them either unless my old studio neighbor had like brought them over to me. He was like, have you tried the bugs? And I was like, no, I have not.
Bugs.
Anyways, wild things. It's a wild world.
I love it so much. Did you have a third share before I cut you off?
I can do a real quick. I can do a real quick third share if you want. Okay.
Why would I say no?
Third share.
What is happening?
I'm sure it got some weird stuff. Okay. So the third share is okay, so these are, I wonder if I can, you see that? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like little, put your hand behind it.
Do you like one of these guys?
Yeah, be a makeup tutorial vlogger. Okay, it looks like there's little shards of something in a container.
So they are 50-year-old, actually maybe even 60-year-old mouse bones of my uncle's pet mouse. Olivia just put a rat. That's my uncle. Anyways, I keep things like this in my studio. My uncle gave them to me to like do. He was like, "Oh, you're working." This is at the time where I was working with animal ashes, and he was like, "Oh, I just like I dug these up." He buried the mouse, and then found. So he buried the mouse when he was a kid. This is a mouse that he had as a pet, and buried the mouse in the backyard. He still lives in that house. So he I guess. Resurrected, exhumed, yes, exhumed the grave. Like maybe like 5 years ago or so, around the same time that I was working with these animal ashes, and he was like, gave them to me for Christmas, and was like, maybe you can do something with them. And so, anyways, what I did with these was I wound up. I worked with with another close friend of mine, Julia Martin. She's another photographer in Ottawa, and she helped me do like a flatbed scan, like a high-res scan of these mouse bones, and it was amazing because it's like you can still see the skull, like you can still see all of these tiny little fragile bones. Yeah. Anyways, that was it. That was for a Christmas present for my uncle. I made this artwork specifically for him with with his like pet mouse bones. Yeah. Oh, and the mouse. Yeah, the mouse was named Ernie, so these are Ernie's bones.
So you scanned these bones, and then you both have now gifted each other Christmas presents based on these bones.
Based on these bones, yes, yeah.
I'm interested to see what he comes back with for another Christmas.
I know. I know, exactly. Yeah. Come by it, honestly.
This feels like it could go on for a long time.
It could go. Yes, it could go on.
No, I love that Ernie is like living on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting that like the connection, that wasn't I wouldn't consider that a part of my art practice per se. That was like, I will do this for my Uncle Jamie. Like he wants an artwork based on these. And I think that this would be the best way to exhibit them is to like expand. But looking back on the photograph now, it's like, oh, okay, this is actually having that kind of celestial quality that is like being mimicked in a lot of my artworks right now. So anyways, everything's interconnected.
Yeah, love it. Oh man, it's been so nice hanging out with you.
It's been awesome hanging out with you too. It's great to chat and see you again.
Ditto. I'm excited for the show. Please do post online when it's up. If there's like a way to look at it virtually, let us know. I think the OAG is going to do like kind of some sort of virtual walkthrough type thing. So I'll totally send it your way. Yes, please. Yes, that would be great. And thanks everyone for joining us. And it was Olivia, right? That's
photographer.
Thank you for filling in the gaps and being so responsive to answering additional information. That was really a treat. It was super nice seeing you, and thanks for hanging out with us on this Saturday.
Awesome to hang out with you guys too.
All right. Lovely chatting with you, Gillian.
Bye.
Okay.
Everyone.
See ya.